premarital bliss can turn pretty sour after you've experienced a wedding and a party that have been full of freeloading distant relatives that you've never met before. Fear not, there is an escape route.
As of right now, it's on average 1 in 5 enquiries that I'll have couples inquiring on destination wedding services.
Also coming up on this weekend's programme, we take a look inside the holiday home of the King of England, who never got to wear his crown. And
intimidating the opposition in New Zealand, and hundreds of hot air balloons take flight. Join me on Insider Guide.
hello and welcome to this weekend's edition of Fast Track with me, Rajan Datta. Now, it's an open secret in the USA and in Europe that if you want to get married on the cheap or can't stand the thought of having to suffer your relatives for hours on end, then a destination wedding is the answer. In fact, in the UK, 1 in 5 couples get married that way. And it's a trend that's spreading to a region that's a minefield of manners and etiquette. Asia, as Carmen Roberts has been finding out.
Going to the chapel and we're gonna get married. Going to the chapel and...
A big church wedding with close to 2,000 of your family's closest friends and relatives isn't everyone's idea of how to spend their special day. But in Asia, large weddings filled with hundreds of your parents' friends and business associates is the norm. Daryl and Francis have broken from tradition. They recently married in Bali with a drastically reduced guest list.
Including ourselves?
Oh, including ourselves, 160.
Yeah.
And in Singapore would have been like 300,
400.
400. Wow. Yeah, so...
That's a lot.
That's a lot, yeah.
It's more than double.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to invite everyone if you have it in Singapore. But in Bali, you gotta be selective. Ideal wedding. I think it was more my idea to have an overseas wedding. Just thought that it'd be nice to have something different, a bit on a smaller scale, a bit more intimate. Didn't really have to be Bali. We were actually looking at Australia, actually, a vineyard. But the logistics aspect of it is just...
too difficult.
Yeah. So Bali was near enough and quite like the resort feel. And
Plus you proposed
plus I
in Bali.
proposed in Bali, so...
Hey baby, I think I wanna marry you.
Bali weddings are indeed popular with modern Asian couples. According to Singaporean planners Wedding Acts, 20% of their clients are now choosing to marry abroad.
I think I wanna marry you.
I'll put it to you in terms of enquiries that I received. 10 years ago is hardly heard of in terms of enquiries. And 5 years ago, 1 in every 20 enquiries. 3 years ago is 1 in every 10 enquiries. As of right now, it's on average 1 in 5 enquiries that I'll have couples inquiring on destination wedding services.
Stephanie Chai runs the Wedding Guide Asia website, and a recent survey revealed 40% of her readers and clients have opted for a destination wedding, and that's a number that's doubled in the last 5 years. I caught up with Stephanie on a recent visit to the newly opened Eco Gourmet Cafe to sound it out as a potential wedding venue.
This is really well done. How did you guys do this?
Smaller venues like this can give couples the option to scale down and make their wedding day more intimate.
Hong Kong, you're looking at double the price of Singapore, where a table can be about $2,000 US. So that's for a table of 10. Now imagine if you have 500 people, that's $1 million US. So not everyone's rich, right? So I have a lot of Hong Kong readers who it's cheaper for them to fly to Bali, fly everyone down to Bali, for a smaller wedding.
Thailand is the other top wedding destination in Southeast Asia. This chocolate box wedding chapel has recently sprung up in Phuket, while upmarket resorts like Trisara are offering bespoke wedding services and in-house planners to cater to the increase.
With air travel, so easy now globally. You can bring 50 people to Thailand today for a price that is still probably net half what it would cost to get married in Europe or Sydney.
Most couples getting married in Thailand will perform a blessing because the legalities are complicated. But other destinations are slowly beginning to realise the wedding tourism potential.
I have also heard of recently countries like, for example, in New Zealand, couple just need to submit the application and arrive 3 days before. That really makes it very easy for the couple as well. So I think countries are right now beginning to see the tourism dollar in that sense, and they are trying to relax the rule.
Well, besides, Bali and Langkawi, we do have some up-and-coming spots such as Cambodia, where you get a traditional Khmer wedding, or Ringha in China, which is in the Yunnan province, where you have a Tibetan wedding. So there's so many different options, and I think the way the wedding industry is evolving is that people want something different and a little offbeat.
Hey baby, I think I wanna marry you. Is it the look in your eyes?
Carmen Roberts there on the growing trend for destination weddings in Asia. And let us know if you're hoping to keep the cost of your impending wedding down by travelling overseas, or if you've had a nasty surprise bill, or worse still, if you've got home and realised that your marriage is null and void. Let us know by emailing us at our usual address, fasttracktravel@bbc.co.uk. And that's what a lot of you did following our report just a couple of weeks ago on the news that the tour operator, First Choice, part of the giant TUI group, will from next year only be offering all-inclusive holidays, leading to fears that small businesses in countries like Spain and Greece will suffer as a result.
Within the holiday village, there's very little that they have to pay. It's really our academies, so if they want to do the football or the swim or our stage academy or our creche sessions with some of our nannies, everything else is included whilst they're in the resort. And of course, if they want to get out and about and experience some of our excursions, then they would need to pay for those. But the majority of things are included.
After that report went out, many of you who live in resort areas all around the world got in touch to say that although all-inclusives may be good for cash-strapped tourists, they were definitely bad for local economies. This email pretty much summed it up.
We are retired and living on the Greek island of Kos, and these hotels are killing the local economy. Locals are going out of business, and there's no alternative employment.
Rajiv contacted us from Sri Lanka to say that he thought the playing field when it comes to all-inclusives certainly isn't fair.
Here in Sri Lanka, large tour operators pressure long-suffering hoteliers to provide them with all-inclusive options. I'm a travel agent, and with all my city breaks across Europe, I have never come across an all-inclusive option. It's quite unfair to demand it from us.
Tony got in touch from Tokyo, though, to say that all-inclusives do contribute to the local economy in a roundabout way.
The local baker, butcher, petrol station, doctor, fishmonger, they all benefit indirectly from the payroll paid by the resort, which flows into the local economy.
The Caribbean's an area which is well used to the all-inclusive concept, and Marie-Louise emailed from there to say that she thinks all-inclusives could work in tandem with local communities, but only if there's a planned approach.
They can become more sustainable. They can incorporate local cultural, culinary and historical experiences, include restaurant stops in the tour package.
But perhaps the last word should go to Maggie, a former tour rep, who says that human nature normally gets the better of most tourists who have already paid for their not cheap all-inclusive holiday.
The companies say they don't want people staying in the resort all the time, but I have worked in all-inclusive resorts, and believe me, these people never leave the hotel. Why should they?
And as ever, thank you very much indeed for your emails. Please do keep them coming in to the usual address, which is appearing on your screen right now. Okay, time to see what else is making news in the world of travel this week. Moscow's hotels have been ranked the most expensive in the world for business travellers at $422 a night, ahead of Geneva, Zurich and Paris. That's according to a survey by the Hogg Robinson Group, which found that hotel rates have increased by 4% around the world, with Istanbul experiencing the biggest rise of 37%. Airlines are using the slowest method to board passengers, according to a recent experiment carried out for a TV show in America. Using a study by Dr. Jason Steffen, it claimed to prove that if planes were boarded in alternate rows, starting with the window seats, people would be on the plane more than 40% quicker. Dr. Steffen claims that airlines could save millions of dollars every year by adopting this new system, reducing the amount of time spent waiting on the tarmac. And tomato-wielding tourists have flocked to the Spanish town of Buñol again for the annual Tomatina Festival. 40,000 people joined in the battle, throwing a total of 120,000 kilograms of tomatoes. Thankfully, the pulp-covered streets, buildings and participants all got a traditional hosing down at the end of the festival. It's just an excuse for a massive food fight, isn't it? Well, time for a short break now, but stay with us because coming up after the break, Michelle's here with her insider guide into some of the world's hottest hot air balloon festivals. And we head to France to visit the holiday home of the man who was born to be king, but abandoned the throne for a woman instead.